So, without getting into specifics, I've been in the middle of different things, trying to figure out what people's motives and emotions and ideals mean and different stuff. And when you're going through, whenever you're going through particular changes in your life, or you're trying to achieve a goal, or if you're trying to um, trying to make a certain decision, and you're just trying to get a little feedback to make sure you're not impulsive or make a certain decision too fast or too quickly, or you're not missing anything to account for. And usually you either seek some type of professional help, or you talk to your friends, or you talk to family, or you go online and research, Google, or watch YouTube videos or something of that nature. There's a lot of different ways to obtain information or input or opinions, especially opinions. Um, but there's one thing about advice that I don't think a lot of people is taking into consideration, because sometimes people have a certain ideology, and sometimes there's a level of pride and ego that goes into advice, which is understandable. But I know there's some people that do the "I'm just being real" or the tough love type of advice. Some people are more analytical. Some people are more emotional with their advice. Some people, but just like with communications, like if you're doing sales, marketing, and different things, you gotta know who you talking to. And a lot of times, the way you might usually advise other people to do things, even though you might be well intent in your advice, and you may be saying, "Hey, I'm trying to say A, B, and C," and this is an issue with communication in general, but I'm gonna specifically talk about advice. But they may interpret it as XYZ, or um, maybe they understand what you're saying, but to a degree, the definition of what you're saying presents something different for that person. And even though you might be telling them some grade A, top tier advice, the definition of what you're saying may present a different reality to that person that you may not realize that it presents. And a lot of times when people are giving advice, there's a piece of themselves that going into that advice. So then when you're not taking their advice the way they think you should take it, or way they feel like you should take it, or if they really like, yo, hey, this is the bottom line, so take it or leave it. And then it's one of those things where they don't take the time to really look at their advice and how it's really coming off, and what's the actual definition or the multiple definitions that their advice presents. And I think there's a certain level of responsibility about giving advice. And that's why I stopped really giving people advice, because I know that as far as directly, like if I would give somebody advice, I would do it this way, um, where I state my opinion about something, or I state some type of ideology, and then if it resonates with you, you can break it down and apply it, and then you can morph it in a way that works for you. And then if you don't understand something I said, then we can talk one on one, or you can comment, or different things of that nature. But if what I'm saying is a bunch of hoopla or hogwash, and you just like, hey, I ain't trying to hear nothing what this dude's saying, then you can just ignore me, and then boom, it's as easy as that. But a lot of times, especially if you're close friends, or you have a personal relationship with somebody, or if you're married to the person, or whatever the case may be, and y'all do certain advice, when a person gives you their advice and you don't immediately take to it, it's almost like you're spitting in their face, or something like that, or you're wasting their time, or you made them waste their breath or something. But there's aspects where there's so much avenues of knowledge, and there's so much things that we don't know as people. So many things that we don't know as people. So the thing is, to be so confident when you don't actually know everything that there is to know, I think that's pretty egotistical in some ways. And I've been guilty of it plenty of times. I ain't gonna sit here and act like I ain't been guilty of it. Um, and so that's why I ask certain questions. That's why I try to have certain conversations with people. But for the most part, they have not been fruitful conversations because I end up getting frustrated, or the other person end up getting frustrated, or both. And a lot of times, even in this video, everything I'm saying cannot make a lick of sense to any of you that can potentially watch this later on, because nobody watching it now. But but what am I talking about? But I think there's a certain responsibility in the advice that we give to people. And even though we might believe we're telling the truth, we might believe we're saying everything we need to say, with a lot of things that we do when we communicate to people, even like when I say certain things to people and I intend it to come off one way, but the person may define it or understand it a different way. And then based off of their understanding, they're going to have a certain reaction to it. And then I technically am held liable for what I said and how I said it. Even if I break it down step by step, what I mean, and different things of nature. A lot of times we are so indoctrinated by our upbringing, our experience, and so many different things that we're not taking the time to continuously break down what we believe, continuously ask questions, continuously learn and grow. And some of you may feel like you do that. I ain't gonna argue with you. But there's still so many questions out. There's still people who argue left and right about God and all that stuff. There's still people who argue left and right about global warming. If the earth is flat or it is round. If you should put ketchup on your hot dogs. that's, that's not that funny. Anyways, there's a lot of things about knowledge. I remember when I was younger, there was a guy, a teacher or somebody, or was it a woman? I don't know. It was a educational instructor, and they did a diagram of a big circle, and then they did a small circle at the bottom. That small circle represents the knowledge that we all know. But a lot of time we are so confident in that little bit of knowledge that we start prescribing, we start preaching, we start saying all these different things to different people, and we're so confident behind it. And if you don't follow what I'm saying, then it sucks for you, because I gave you some A1 prime rib, whatever type of advice. But there's a certain level of responsibility. There's a certain way that we have to understand people. And there's a lot of things that we don't understand about ourselves. And we can go to therapy, we can work out, we can do all these different things, we can soul search, but there's still a lot of questions that aren't going to be answered on this side of life. Whatever you believe in about the afterlife, I ain't here to argue your perspective. I'm just saying, the one thing is, we may think we know a bunch of stuff, but we don't know. And that's why I've been trying to say in several videos or several conversations, we might believe that we're telling the truth. We might believe we know everything, but we're only scratching the surface. There's still a whole iceberg that we cannot see. There's still people that we will never meet. There's still people that lives different type of lives that we won't fully understand, fully grow. Men are not fully gonna understand women. Women not gonna fully understand men. people of different races and ethnicities never going to fully understand people of different races and ethnicities and nationalities. Even ourselves, we're never going to fully understand ourselves. What we usually do, from what I'm seeing, is we go through certain experiences. You do different tactics to try to learn and grow, or try to form an identity. And then once we form an identity, that's it. We just move forward with that identity. And you might make adjustments here and there, but for the most part, your identity is set. And what you believe, and I think this is one thing I agree. Well, I'm not going to say that because I was speaking to somebody and they said that people can't really deconstruct their feelings or deconstruct their beliefs. And at the end of the day, I think they're kind of right about that. But I don't want to contradict what I said earlier. And but for the most part, some of the evidence I've seen within how people behave is people believe, once they believe certain things, it ain't shifting. And then if you don't kind of go with that program, then you out of luck. So, for the most part, is I just want to caution people. And I might have some personal friends that watch this. They might think I'm trying to attack them or think I'm trying to disrespect them. And that's not the case. I'm just saying there's a lot to advice and a lot to the conversation we have with each other, and a lot of responsibility and accountability we need to take that we're underestimating because we're so passionate about what we're saying. And even with me posting this video now, I could be doing a bunch of harm and not realize it. Shoot, every time I open my mouth, I could be doing a bunch of harm without realizing it. If it was up to me, I'd be mute. Not really, because I enjoy singing. I'm not going to sing for y'all because I'm still working on my voice. But one day, I'm going to make some music. And whether it takes off or not, I'm just going to make it for me because I enjoy singing. And when I get some equipment to make beats, I'm going to do that. And I'm going to do things just to keep me from being so confused about life, because life is confusion. I am confusion. But anyways, it's about time for me to clock in. I'm about to be out here delivering packages. If you in the Spring area, keep a lookout for me. Or they might have me in Porter, but either Porter or Spring, you might see me out there. Hopefully in Spring, because Porter, some of y'all neighborhoods be, even in Spring, some of y'all neighborhoods be good. But yeah. So to everybody out there that is dealing with different aspects of life, I hope it gets better. I hope you find your purpose. I hope you find what you're looking for in life, whether it's a divine identity or it's identity you create for yourself, or it was a combination of the two. But I'm still looking for different purposes, a different thing for a purpose. I do have hobbies I enjoy doing, and I have hobbies that I can turn into careers if I make the right moves and different things of that nature. But I'm just going to focus on the information that's being presented to me now. And then as I'm learning the deeper meaning of life, as I'm learning what it really means to be alive, what it really means to go through life, if I ever get those answers on this side of life, I'm just going to try to take what I can and make adjustments, because that's pretty much my whole life has been making adjustments, learning, growing, and all this different stuff. And of course, I made mistakes because I'm human. But y'all saw something weird right there. But and those who personally know me, don't take what I just said as as me not acknowledging the decisions or the lack of knowledge that I had that led to some of my mistakes or led to certain things that I'm going through or getting the fault or the blowback from. It's just, at the end of the day, I see humanity as a symptom of something, or like a, you know how people got ADHD or people got all these different medical diagnoses. Um, that's why I see it as. I see it as, because of this makes my life more difficult. Yes, I can make adjustments. Yes, I can try to be more mindful about different things I say and do. But the people with certain medical issues, they still have to overcome their disease. So um, I'm gonna leave it there. Humanity, in a sense, is a little bit of a disease, depending on how your moral aspect of it all, because we have to overcome all these symptoms, right? But that's the topic for another video. So I might do one of those tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow will be a better time to do it. So no matter if you let me, hate me, life is still better, baby. I gotta go. I gotta go deliver these packages and then go see my babies. Yeah, yeah.